Today we're doing VALU PAK free performance dog food review. So this dog food is for puppies, for active adults and puppies. Notice the word active, not for lazy dogs or house pets that don't really work and do much. So without any further ado, if you've been through my reviews before, you know what to expect. So let's get into this review. First, we're gonna get into a little talk about this food. So this food has omega-3s, omega-6 fatty acids for healthy skin coat, brain, and nervous system development. It also has ingredients with natural sources of glucosamine and chondroitin to support and maintain optimal joint function and cartilage health. Puppies benefit from VALU PAK 2020 at approximately 4 weeks of age. Moisten this food with warm waters. Give it to the puppies. Yada, yada, yada. So let's get into the ingredients. The first ingredient is chicken byproduct meal. Chicken byproduct meal is 60 to 70% protein. It's ground up, cooked up chicken parts, and they add a vitamin to it, an antioxidant, probably vitamin E to it, to preserve it, so it doesn't break down or go rancid in the bag. The next ingredient is sorghum, is whole grain sorghum. Sorghum is an ancient grain, thousands of years old. This sorghum is generally considered a super grain. You know what I'm saying? It's gluten free. It's high in protein. It's rich in antioxidants. It's got essential fatty acids, and it has a low glycemic index, which means that if you had a pound of sugar and a pound of this sorghum, they would basically have about the same amount of carbohydrates, which is an energy source. But the sugar would spike up in the bloodstream real fast and basically cause a lot of whatever it does. You know, it causes diabetes and high blood sugar and high blood pressure, whatever. Whereas the sorghum will break down slowly and give a slow amount of energy to the dog over a short amount of period of time so that it doesn't spike the dog's energy. Next, we got chicken fat. This chicken fat is the fat that's inside of this food. As you can see, I didn't say it before, but on the front of the bag, you see that it's 28% protein and 20% fat. In order for a dog food to be a puppy food or a food to be a dog food, a puppy food must contain at least 22% protein. Here we have 25% protein, 28% protein. And in order for a dog food to be a dog food, it has to contain about at least 18% protein. So it meets all those factors. Next, we got pork meal. This pork meal provides, let me see, I wrote it all down so I won't forget it. Oh, I forgot a few things. This pork meal provides amino acids, good for muscle growth, skin health, and it's an alternative protein source for dogs that are sensitive to other meats. What that pork meal actually is doing in this food is providing a natural source of glucosamine and chondroitin, which are hips. It's good for the joints in the hips, in the legs, to be strong. Dogs run a lot, so I guess that's why they need a lot of that chondroitin and cartilage or whatever, chondroitin and glucosamine. And also its fats are in that pork meal. So it's good that they took and gave you that pork meal separately instead of using the chemical form of it. Just lets you know that they took an extra step for you. Next, after that, we have whole grain brown rice. Now, this whole grain brown rice has a lower glycemic output than white rice, It's unalterated. It's it's just raw. It's a whole ingredient. It's not a byproduct. So it's just rice that they collected in the purposes of using just for the dog food. It's not a waste product or some other product. It's got a little bit of protein in it. It has a lot of vitamins and minerals in it as well. It has magnesium, magnus, and psyllium. Also, I forgot to add that this ground sorghum uh, gives your dog a healthy blood sugar level. It's rich in iron, zinc, magnesium, phosphorus, copper, and calcium. So there's a lot of all occurring natural vitamins that you're getting out of this sorghum, and compared to what you would get from a corn or soy or wheat. And it's less genetically modified, if at all. Might not be genetically modified. It might just be, all natural. But once again, they do what they do. You don't really know. But it has a lot of minerals, vitamins. So that's the sorghum. And next we got dried beet pulp. Well, no. Next we got dried peas. These dried peas are adding fiber to the system, as well as um, that brown rice is adding fiber to the system to help the dog be able to have a stronger digestive system that has some fiber in it. So it's good gut health, good gut bacteria, and also good for the cleaning of the inside of the stomach. Um, and next you got rice bran. Rice bran, rice bran is high in vitamins and high in just nutrients, and it's a very good additive that they're adding. The rice bran, it also adds the fiber to the food, and it's very healthy. So let's get into the feeding instructions. If you have 100-pound dog, you can feed this 100-pound dog about 3.5 to 4 and 3/4 cups of food a day. You add 1/3 cup of food per 100-pound dog. So, a 100-pound dog might be able to get away with 4 cups of this food a day, which is a whole bowl. I know I don't like to feed that much. So once again, I'm gonna give y'all how I plan on using this food and what do I think about the food. I haven't used it yet, obviously. So what I think about the food is the fact that it has ground sorghum in it is very good. So what I see from the ingredients is the only main protein sources I see are the chicken byproduct meal and the pork. Now, the other ingredients that they're adding, like whole grain sorghum, the brown rice, the flaxseed, all these other ingredients have protein in them, but they're not concentrated sources. Also, as well as the dry peas, they all have protein in them, so they would help keep the protein level, at a steady decline, as opposed to just straight up fillers like corn, soy, wheat, or whatever. But what I'll say is, um, basically, the protein has to be coming from that chicken byproduct meal. It can't be coming from anything else. So it doesn't have, as you can see on the front of this bag, it doesn't have any, corn gluten meal. I don't think it says, is it on the front? Yeah, no gluten. Um, and you got corn gluten meal. But I didn't think corn has gluten, but it has no corn gluten meal, which is like a high protein source of from corn that's left over after they squeeze all the nutrients out of the corn to make oil. So basically, what that means is this food is mostly meat, because there's no other way for them to have 28% protein. And if it says 28% protein, it's more likely to be about 30, because the numbers are always higher by 2 to 3%, but they have to give you an average. So this food is about 30% protein. You cannot get 30% protein from just these other ingredients, because once again, it's dried peas, um, and rice, whole grain rice. and rice bran. So there's nothing, and also you have flaxseed in here to aid with omega 3s and 6s or whatever. I don't know which one exactly. But I feel like this food has a high amount of meat in it. A high amount of meat and a high amount of nutritious, low glycemic index carbohydrates. So it's high in protein and low in the carbs. You know what I'm saying? And bad carbs, but you know what I mean? So the carbs actually help with the body weight and the energy level of the dog. So next we go to calories. I go to calories. It says 445 calories per cup, or kilocalories a cup. So what I'll say about that is that's amount of a very high amount of calories, very high. Anything over 380 is high calories. 450 calories, 445 calories is superfood. And the fact that these calories are going to be breaking down relatively slowly compared to a corn food, and also you're going to get less glutens and uh less clunked up and junked up proteins. And a lot of times, like let me really get into it with you. A lot of times you'll have a dog food that has protein, but it has a pea protein powder, or it has corn glutamine. These are plant-based proteins that they're adding to the food to boost up the protein, to make you think that the food is high in protein, because everybody wants high protein. Nobody wants soy. Nobody wants corn. So they'll add different things to fool you and trick you into buying the food. So I think it's a good food. I think it's going to be a good food based on those levels, just on ingredients alone. So I'm going to give it a look test and a smell test. It's got that dog food smell and taste and smell. So I'm going to give a little bit of this to Bishop and see if he eats it right off the top, because he's been sniffing around. He's been sniffing around. Now, why do we have this dog food? We have this dog food because we have puppies on the ground right now. We got to be able to give these puppies this puppy food, this dog food, in order to be able to tell the prospective owners of these new puppies what we're feeding these dogs. What we plan on doing with this dog food is we might feed this dog food once a week. We might feed 1 cup a day. We're going to figure out how we really going to incorporate this. We still going to use our cornmeal and all that stuff that we're using, but we might get really busy and might not be able to make the cornmeal that we're using. So we might cut back on a cornmeal for 30 days, or we might just do 1 cornmeal meal, 1 dog food meal, but we got to get them used to this food. I think this would be a good food because basically it's high in protein, like I said it before. And also, let's get to another thing. It has chondroitin and glucosamine levels. So it says 300 milligrams or mgs, micrograms. I'm gonna call it micrograms. 300 micrograms of chondroitin and 300 micrograms of glucosamine. And when it comes to omega 3s and 6s, it has 0.3% omega 3 and 0.2% omega 6. I think the 6 is the one you don't want too much of. Okay. Bishop been geeking for it through the bag and been drooling. So, I mean, it's got to be good. We're going to put a little fish oil on there. We got a little cod liver oil on there. You know what I mean? We're going to turn it up a little bit for them, guys. We're going to give everybody a little bit of this tonight so they go to sleep with a little something extra on their belly. I think this is going to be a good food. Just on the simple fact, no corn, no wheat, and no corn gluten, and no corn gluten meal. So that's going to be a very important thing. You know what I mean? And 445 calories. That means with 4 cups, you're talking about 1,600, 3, 6, 9, 12, 1,700 calories. Pretty good amount of calories. We just not real big on dog food around here, man, because we don't like clean. We don't like to clean up. Um, we rather do the corn. But we could cut the corn in half and give 1 cup of this with the corn, and they can have a full big bowl so that we can put more weight and size on dogs. So we do have puppies and we do have bullies. So we do want to put size on our dogs because when the females go on a heat, the other dogs lose weight. So yeah, man, we out.